Okay.
There we go. Now we're
100.
now we're now we're good. Well, once again, now we got the sound figured out. This is an MCSN podcast. Dale Scott, along with Chad Coakley, and with Megan Scott, and special guest Maquoketa Athletic Director Tom Gruenwald. And we already started talking before we realized there was a sound issue, but we already got the text about 2 hour delay or again tomorrow. So it's not starting out too good. And but Tom, we were kind of talking already a little bit about it, but we'll reiterate that you probably got the one of the busiest jobs going right now as far as trying to get all these games made up with deadlines with districts coming up shortly in a week for the girls and a couple weeks for the boys.
Yeah, we're at the point now where we can't afford any more missed games. I think if we miss any more, I think we got to seriously look at not making those up at that point.
Yeah, I heard DeWitt's looking at doing that. I think they were supposed to play Davenport West in one of the games got canceled. Boys in the last couple days here. I think they're not going to make that game up.
Yeah, it makes it real simple if they were non-conference games.
Yeah.
Absolutely wouldn't even consider making those up.
Do those games not figure into seeding for postseason play?
Well, seating's a little different this year, or the last 3 years. For just think the boys' side, for example, we get our district of 8 teams, and then all those coaches and myself will meet at Maquoketa, and we seat ourselves.
Oh,
Um, so the state doesn't have anything to do with it. We come out and they give us who our district is, but then you sit in a room and you battle it out.
Really,
wow.
that's kind of
So who has the
interesting.
ultimate? Who has the ultimate say in the end? Then, if let's say two teams have similar records, and
Whoever's not
you
voted off the island.
whoever gets
Well,
the most backing from the other coaches and ads, then, or
most of the time we'll sit down. The state's done this now. This will be the third year, and I've ran it the previous 2 years also, and I went into the first year just thinking this was going to be an absolute disaster. And what we started to do was each coach listed them 1 through 8, and then we just went with the point system
oh
up on
yeah,
the board, and it really separated itself pretty well. And then if there was a clear cut number one, that team just went in as number one. But let's say 2 and 3 were really close. We would give each coach an opportunity to talk about their teams, talk about their seasons that they've had, potentially some injuries or things that have happened to them throughout the year that would weigh a little bit differently, and then we just vote off on those 2 teams.
okay,
And then once we got those two down, let's say there was a big break between 3 and 4 again, and there always is. Coaches have taken this very seriously, and they've done a good job of having some integrity in this. But it's always different from where sometimes you got different conference schools in there. Like this year we have Wallard in there.
yeah,
Uh, Anamosa's in there so you got two different leagues.
yeah.
And that always creates some talk and whatnot. But I'll tell you, the coaches have done a great job the last 2 years. I think last year we were in and out in 25 minutes.
Oh my, is the same process for boys and girls?
No, it is not. The girls will they'll. I'm not to be real honest with you. I think they try to do a pretty good job of separating the top teams, and I think they've done that. But the state will just throw those games. They tell us who we're going to play and when we're going to play.
Oh,
Yeah,
they do.
yeah, I noticed that because the girls already have a bracket, and we already know we're playing Clinton at Clinton again.
At Clinton, yes,
Oh,
yes,
it's Franklin.
Yeah,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So at this point, we don't know. We have to have our meeting completed by February 6th, and uh, which we will. But it's just been. We'd have liked to met this week probably, and get that done.
So what
So
is
February,
the
no, sorry.
so who decides where the games will be played at? Is it just the top 2 seeds that come out of that meeting get the home games?
Well, that's the way it's been the last 2 years. As long as you have the ability to host,
Mm-hmm.
um, the number one seed is hosted 2 first-round games. The number 2 seed is hosted the first night, and then the number 1 seed or whoever that is has hosted the second night. Then, but they ask us for that. They ask us where you'd like to play, and our recommendation has always been the top 2 seeds host. And they've always granted that wish for us, or they've always abided by that.
So out of my curiosity here, what seed are the Maquoketa girls then? Do you know, Dale?
We don't know.
They don't seed them. They
We don't
just
know.
basically
Yeah,
we're playing Clinton at Clinton, and then if whoever wins that game gets to go play North Scott. So
Yeah.
we're not a top 2 seed. I'll tell you that right now.
No. That would tell me we're not in the top 2 on our side.
Okay. But we'd have to be in the top 4 probably, wouldn't we? With the girls are what, 11-5?
I would guess so. I would guess that ends up that our girls lost to Clinton at Clinton probably hurt us as bad as any.
Okay.
But I guess that's why, they got the nod over us at that point. I like our girls' chances in that game. Our girls didn't play extremely well that day. They just coming off a tough game the night before, but I'll take our chances with that game.
Yeah, and
that was a 3-game.
Go ahead, Chad.
3-game week. That was a 3-game week for them too, for our girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that game is that game 2 weeks from tomorrow?
That's the 13th.
Yeah, the February 13th. Yeah.
Or 2 weeks from Saturday.
It was 2 weeks from yesterday.
Oh, it's a Wednesday night.
It's a Wednesday night, yeah.
The second round is Saturday. Then okay.
Yes, and then the boys will start on that Monday then.
Yep. Right. Okay. Oh, so that's really coming quick for the girls then.
It is. Thank God the girls played 2 games in one day, and that took some things off our plate. But there's some teams out there that are playing almost every day.
Well, the girls pretty much are going to play 2 back-to-backs, and so are the boys now.
Yeah. I think West Delaware was playing 6 games in 8 days here when we were trying to get that one rescheduled from last night. And because they had lost a couple others, they had lost a game that we hadn't lost in there, and so they're end up. I mean, it's just a mess with the schedules at the end of the year.
Yeah, you pretty much have to refresh Twitter every 20 minutes to see if anybody's actually playing and when the reschedules are. And even that's not a perfect science because some of those have been messed up and you have to correct them.
Oh, absolutely. Those people that are looking at quick stats and whatnot, I'm not even sure how accurate those are. What's on our website, on our school site, that is accurate.
So let's get away from the varsity just real quick, and let's talk about the lower levels. Is there going to be a lot of their games not being played at all?
We will try to get those made up. Those games with DeWitt now, those will be both 3 games in one night deal there. West Delaware, when the girls go to West Delaware on Monday, we are not playing a freshman game that they don't have a lot of girls, and they're running out of games. And we knew that was a possibility when the year started. They've lost that game, but I'm not sure that's really weather related. When we go to Solon, they're hosting some wrestling meets that night. So to make that work in their schedule, we moved that JV game up to 4:30, and then the varsity plays at 6.
And that's also going to be at their middle school gym, is what I saw too.
That's
right?
also going to be at their middle school because their wrestling team is hosting the state duels that night.
Well, that middle school gym is really nice. They just built.
Yeah, absolutely. Back in the day, Chad, you and I would have loved to play nice, something that nice,
Absolutely. Hey, have you ever, Tom, in your years of coaching or teaching or being an athletic director, you ever seen anything like this last couple weeks weather-wise?
Not even close. There's been times throughout the year we've lost this many games, but you might lose a couple in December. Well, you can get those made up right away. And then you might lose one in January. But nothing like this for as many days in a row. And, it's just been a nightmare. And the biggest thing with us, there's no practice time. Us in West Delaware, we're looking at makeup dates for our boys' game last night. And with everything that's being hosted in our gyms and everything else, we really got down to there was only 2 dates that we had available to even play between now and the remainder of the year. There just isn't many available dates because sometimes they had a makeup game on the night that we were free or vice versa.
Yeah.
When is that now, the West Delaware game?
February 9th.
February 9th. So
3
Saturday.
Freshmen. Yep. 4:30 sophomores, and then 6 o'clock varsity boys.
Hey, to go even deeper into levels, middle school games, do those, I think they've missed a couple basketball games. Do they get rescheduled at all, or?
Some of those will. Again, it gets really tough. Traditionally, we haven't made up a lot of the middle school games.
Right.
Because when you lose them, there's just no other place to put them. And with tournament, it gets
you have to be done by a certain time, even with middle school basketball.
We don't, but we try to keep it to a 6-week season. Because I know there's the travel teams are starting to play again. At that time, they seem to take about 6 weeks off during the middle school season, and then they finish up with a month or so of playing travel ball again. But us in Mount Vernon are going to look for a date to make that one up. The rest of them, I don't know.
If you can just get one or so, maybe have a 10-game season or something, they lose a couple games and probably get so happy.
And I know that we're moving on to other things, by the end of February and those type of things too. All of a sudden, I'm going to use that other B word, baseball.
Oh God, don't get Coakley going.
Wait, my hands are sweating. My eyes just lit up. Tell me more about this baseball, Tom.
This sounds kind of neat.
It's
really
shiny.
New.
Great though.
Tom, tell them about our little convo this afternoon. I asked you, have we canceled any baseball games yet?
And I told him just the first week we're going to finish up the basketball season sometime at the end of May, and it looked like it would push back the baseball season.
I got a solution for that.
But you were talking, Tom, earlier before that we had fixed the audio that you think it was like 2010 where Midland had an issue where after they were done in the postseason, they had to turn around and go play a conference game to make it up after they had been done.
I'd kind of forgotten about that, but Mark Peterson and I were sitting around the other day, and he said, do you remember when we had to go back down to Prince of Peace after both of our seasons had finished, and we went down and played them because if they won, then they tied with Easton Valley for the conference championship. And I said, I do remember that, Mark, but he was part of that, and he said it wasn't ideal, and he wished they wouldn't have had to do it. But Easton Valley or Prince of Peace wanted to get that game in because if they won it, they shared the conference championship.
Wow. And this was after postseason play was over too?
This was after postseason play because you can play all the way through the state tournament. There's been a lot of coaches that have practiced when their teams get eliminated. You can practice right up until the very last day of the state tournament.
Yeah, I remember that in kind of football too. That we do. You can do some of that.
Yeah. Yep.
I wish the Saints and Chiefs would do that.
Oh, come on now. Hey,
I'd like to watch that game this Sunday.
this just in. We're going to go play Dyersville Beckman on August the 10th. I think the snow should clear up by then.
I'll tell you, the way we're going, I'm not sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I look out my window this afternoon and saw the snow coming down. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I saw the weather forecast this morning. They're talking up to an inch. And then tonight on the 6 o'clock news, they're saying 3 to 5 inches some places are getting.
Well, I'll bet you we got 5 inches out on my deck here today. I tried to go put Ryan in some shorts and some sunglasses in a chair out by our pool. I was going to take a picture of him, but he wouldn't go for it.
Well, too bad our weatherman is under the weather. He's at home with, what did he say, Chad? Influenza A?
A.
So we couldn't get we wanted him to come on tonight and give us live weather reports from up in Bernard, but no do on that.
Mitch.
It's rough, guys. Well, I hate to say this, but just looking out at the 7-day forecast, the word ice has been mentioned a couple days next week.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Can we play on Sunday before the Super Bowl, obviously, for certain reasons, but can we play on Sundays?
Yeah, if the Steelers aren't playing, I don't even know if there is a Super Bowl. So you're not the first one to bring that up. I've never been a part of that. Obviously, there'd be a lot of discussions and whatnot that would go into that. But there are some schools playing on Wednesdays. They're playing single varsity games at 4:30 on Wednesday.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you've pretty much got to the point you got to do what you got to do now.
Absolutely. And obviously you don't want to do that. But it could be, I don't want to misspeak here, but I think it could be Solon and Marion that are potentially doing that, playing, and I don't remember if it was a boys game or a girls game, but playing just one single varsity game.
So, we were talking that not every school has got the same policy as us, as far as if there's no school, you can't have any activities, including practice time. Some schools have been getting in the gym, getting some practice time. And has there been any discussion to maybe look at that and maybe bend the rules a little bit under these extreme situations? Because
there's really not. The bottom line is I will never apologize for taking the safety of our kids first and foremost. We did allow today open gyms and whatnot, and probably in the end of it, that was a bad call with the amount of snow we ended up getting. And just us guys texting back and forth as ADs, I think it's easier for the Marions and whatnot, those schools that don't have the rural kids that we have. I think the rest of us are really playing by the same set of rules.
Yeah, you get in the Des Moines metro area. I mean, a lot of those schools, they can have 95% of their kids there that don't have to travel out on country roads at all. So.
Oh, absolutely. I was surprised that on Tuesday night that Bettendorf canceled this game. I think they were playing. It was another Quad City school. But, a lot of those guys, they don't have to leave town to play. And those right there, and that changes things for us a little bit, And here's the deal: you can make all the practices optional, but kids are gonna fight to get there, and sometimes we have to be smarter than them. And the last thing we want to do is put our kids at a disadvantage, and we want to get as much practice time as we can. In fact, Mr. Hoover has approved a few Sunday practices that have never been approved ever before, just to try to get some of those times in.
So here's another thought that I was having a little conversation on Twitter last night with Jeff Johnson of the Cedar Rapids Gazette, and because he was putting together an article for today about all this craziness going on, and Ryan Lursman, the head coach over at Xavier, all three of us were kind of having a little bit of a conversation, and my point to them was, well, here's another thing that most people don't really think of is with all these makeup games that have to be done in such a short period of time, one of the biggest problems is you're going to have to find enough quality officials to even play these games.
Dale, that's a great point. we are, that's the biggest problem with the makeups. Officials are already working somewhere else.
Right.
And, I am still looking to secure officials for our West Delaware boys game. I don't have those done yet, and you're wanting to find the best crew that you possibly can.
Well, especially for that contest, because you don't want to have officials that have only done middle school or freshman games.
Absolutely.
Having to step in and do that game, because that game's going to be physical, and it might be above their pay grade.
Well, and it's not fair to the official either.
Exactly.
It's not fair to anybody involved because they know that they're not that quality yet for a lot of those guys. But for us to play the game, there's at times that we got to take who's available, and I think we'll make that work. There's some girls tournament games on February 9th that that we'll lose some officials to those games. So finding officials is very, very difficult.
Can be a flurry to the finish here.
Oh, yes, it is. It is.
You just have to offer them, hey, I'll pay you triple. Come work this game.
Well, here's the problem. I don't care if you pay them $500. They're already contracted to work another game. And, they're already, it's not like they're choosing not to work. They're already working.
And there's a shortage. There's a shortage of officials.
And there's a shortage. I think it's one more reason to go to girl-boy double headers is the fact is that when you can get same night location games, I think overall, you're eliminating a crew on that night. And I think overall you'll get better crews.
Is that something that's being further investigated for Maquoketa in the future?
Well, it is, but there's a lot that goes into it. All of a sudden your JV freshman coach are traveling 4 nights a week. All of a sudden those lower level kids aren't getting to practice. For me to really look at it and be serious about it, we'd have to play 6 games in one night at Maquoketa. I've been through at the smaller school level playing JV one night, varsity the next night, and pretty soon nobody's practicing. And your coaches are always gone, and it doesn't make for a long-lasting coaching staff either. So, but we have the ability to play 6 games, just like we were going to do at DeWitt the other night. They were going to use their auxiliary gym, and we were going to get 6 games in there on Tuesday when we lost the games on Monday. But obviously we lost the games on Tuesday too. So, there is. I think we're going to have to look at doing some things like that. But I don't want to end up sending teams out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. The other thing that, kind of this reshuffling has caused is probably some lost revenue for, I think about DeWitt for the cake auction night and, boys, girls, doubleheader or 6 games and all the people that be coming.
Oh, absolutely, Chad.
Yeah, it hurts a little financially. That's money you kind of, count on for the programs, and it
is.
It makes it tough.
It played a role for me of when we rescheduled the West Delaware game. I wanted to make sure that we had it on a night that we were going to get a big crowd. And, because we looked at a few other dates or one other date, and I thought, God dang it, that's not a great night. And, you just want to make sure that people can come out, because we've had some outstanding gates at both boys and girls games this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, the girls have had a great season too. And
oh, absolutely.
What a great winter for Maquoketa basketball all the way around. I mean,
it's been a while.
Yeah, both teams are just playing really good basketball. I mean, both led by coaches that I think are, really bought into their programs and their kids and
absolutely
about what they do, and I think it shows. And
and hopefully guys that are going to be here a while.
Yeah.
I think Coach Lefke and Coach Hartman are I think they're doing it the right way, and I couldn't be happier with them both.
Well, I'll give a little love to the wrestling program. I know this is coming out of left field, right? But they did have a duel that was canceled. But they're already into their postseason, so they haven't been affected as much as far as actual matches, but their gym time to stay in shape and everything has been really affected, hasn't it?
Well, this has been a crucial week for those guys. The last 2 weeks have been, conference tournament on Saturday. Our kids didn't get a lot of mat time, and then all of a sudden this week we've got sectionals at Davenport Assumption on Saturday, and we missed a couple of days with no workouts. They did get a workout in today. They did get a workout out on Monday. You tell kids to work out on their own, but for them, it gets into watching your weight, and if you can't get in and get a good workout, it gets pretty tough for some of those kids.
Yeah, and talk about postseason coming quick. I mean, theirs is here this weekend, and
yeah. For a lot of
some kids,
high school wrestlers, this is it.
Yeah, seasons start ending for kids this weekend, and hard to believe it's that time.
Well, it seems like we just started the basketball season, to be honest with you.
It seems like we're ended it, and we're waiting for the next season to start. Is what it feels
like
to me.
I got a news update. I got a text here that I forgot to mention the JV girls are 11-2 also.
Absolutely.
Led by an outstanding coach in Ray Kavanaugh. So.
Was that Ray or Kate that texted you?
I got an anonymous text here recently, but JV girls are 11-2 again, led by Ray Kavanaugh coaching them. So,
well, thanks, Kate. Can you thank Ray for sending that text in?
I'm not saying it was him.
Okay, thank you, Kate.
No, but absolutely. And our basketball programs have been very, very competitive all winter long at all levels.
Yeah, and like Dale was saying too, our wrestling program is, Shot's done a terrific job there too with getting the numbers up and keeping kids involved. So,
absolutely. I've got as much respect for Brendan Schott as anybody we have, and he just keeps his head down and keeps grinding. And, our kids are getting better every day. I know he's got high hopes here coming into sectionals and districts here, but he just does a great job, and the kids seem to really enjoy being around him.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah. And did somebody say something about baseball? I thought I heard. No.
Well,
Ray sent another text, didn't he?
We'll have spring training on MCSN coming in April, Chad.
I heard Bryce Harper visited with San Diego tonight. So
I saw you were supposed to sign with Philadelphia 2 days ago.
Yeah, that was Twitter blubber.
Anyway, back to our reality. Unless we want to keep going on that tangent, and then let's talk about this game coming up on Sunday. Who out there would like to watch a live stream of Chad and I watching the Super Bowl together?
Probably nobody.
well, your son wants to watch me during the game, so we'd have to put that on our mother network, the Sports Tater channel on YouTube, though, because I can't guarantee there wouldn't be adult language in that one.
Yeah.
But it's almost come to that. It's like getting to the point where if we just had a legitimate practice, I was almost getting ready to just go broadcast it just to have something to do.
Yeah, you go full blast, and then all of a sudden you've got nothing, and it gets tough.
Well, I went to the little baseball open gym last Sunday, and there was 14 kids there. So that kind of says something too about kids working hard. I know the softball girls have been working hard for some time already too, putting in some extra time. So
Did you,
Absolutely. Our kids are working hard.
they are.
Chad? Did you put in some extra work with Caden on Sunday?
No, I did not.
Because he went 16 for 30 at hit tracks that night. I was like, Chad.
Actually, he seemed like he was mad at open gym. I don't know if he gets sick of hearing me talk or what, but
Well, I think he had a busy day. He went to church in the morning. They had basketball practice, and then for basketball practice, he walked over probably to the other gym for baseball, and then he still had to go up to Dubuque to hit tracks league. So he was having a busy day on Sunday.
all right.
Well, Tom, anything else you'd like to add?
No, man. Appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we get some games in tomorrow.
It'd be nice.
Amen.
But as I continue to look out my window.
Yeah, Tom, what's the over under? What are you thinking? 99% chance of playing tomorrow?
Wow. Give him a high number there.
I told Lisa Etkin that we'd be in school this week, and she sent me a text here the other day. She says, "Don't go to Vegas." And then she sent me a text a little bit after that. She goes, "What do you think about tomorrow?" And she goes, "Forget it. You've been wrong every time I've asked you." So my guessing rate hasn't been good.
Well, speaking of Vegas, the new odds for who's going to cut down the nets in Des Moines for both the boys and the girls, the new favorite on top of the board now is winter weather. Winter weather is the favorite to cut down nets in Des Moines this year.
Well, for the girls' state tournament, that's pretty much a given every year. Is that first couple of days of girls' state tournament, you get that big snowstorm.
Well, hopefully these kids, it'll thaw out. And the problem is, even when you get back to it, there's not going to be any practice time. You're just going to have to go right into games and game after game after game to finish it up. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
If you're one of those kids that went out and you just went out to be a part of the team, and you're not even going to have to go through practices the last half of the season, that worked out well for you.
I just got another update. That DeWitt canceled for tomorrow.
Really?
Are you serious?
Who were they supposed to play?
I don't know if that meant if the person that texted me could say if that was for school or basketball or both.
Well, on that note, I'm hanging up.
Is Hoover back in town yet?
I think he extended his stay in Florida for a couple more days.
Of course he did.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think they were getting back today, I think.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yep, they are closing school. I just looked it up on Twitter 9 minutes ago. Sorry, especially to the parents, but I have to make the call due to tonight's weather and the rural road conditions. I'm closing school for Friday, February 1st.
Well, I drove home from Davenport tonight, and it was like a whiteout in spots, and there were cars in the ditch.
Well, I-80 there at Iowa City is shut down because of a big
so
accident.
if it's blowing overnight with this white fluffy snow, it will be a mess on the country roads.
Meanwhile,
absolutely,
Western Dubuque is up 13-10 over Wahlert right now in boys basketball up at Wahlert. So at least somebody got to play.
Yeah, absolutely. It that could be about the only game going on tonight, huh?
Waukee and Hoover are playing. There's a few games going on.
Hey, Tom, I got one more question real quick. And this kind of relates to all sports. Has there been any talk about not limiting off-season contact with coaches?
It's something that's brought up quite a bit. And, the states, they are trying to address it. They're probably trying to address it as much in the softball, baseball world as any, because baseball and softball coaches are saying, hey, my kids are hitting at a place they're paying that money. Why can't I just work with my own kids?
Yeah. And I think, I'm kind of thinking of it because of all sports. I mean, kids can go play basketball in the off season. They can do some football stuff, but they,
Yep.
yeah, you said they're paying other people to do these things.
Yeah, it gets difficult. There's always that one guy.
Yeah.
That ends up kind of ruining it for everybody.
Hello.
Well, the other thing is you don't want your coaches to feel like they have to do stuff year round either, too, because honestly, they need a break at times. And in these smaller schools, well, even in our school, we have coaches that do multiple sports. They might be a head coach for one and an assistant coach for another, and they need a break from certain things too. So that's what gets tough for some of us.
Yeah, I think people are afraid if they open it up, you're really going to end up, kids are really going to specialize at that point, because then they're going to have more opportunities to do their favorite sport all year round.
Right.
But but Tom, wouldn't you think that I think that bus has left the station already anymore?
It has. They're just not doing it with their high school coach.
Right.
They're doing it with another coach somewhere else, and but there is talk of opening it up a little bit. Dale, you had me on during football season. One of the things I talked about, and there'll be ripple effects of that too, opening it up and going. But they've opened baseball, softball up a little bit more for baseball. 10 days now in April.
Yeah. Yeah, that helps. I mean, that's
it does help. It does. It does. And you got to be able to take advantage of those days.
Yeah, and ideally you'd like to be out on the field, to use those hitting days. And last spring just did not cooperate weather-wise to be able to do that.
No,
very
we just
much.
weren't able to get out. So hopefully this year the weather turns 80 degrees early and we can get outside and get some of that stuff done.
Yeah, let's hope.
When are the nets going to be up in the old gym?
The overhead nets we're hoping by March 1st.
Okay.
Just met with the guy one day this week. I was at school. He came by. We got that done, and he told me, he said, fortunately, he said those indoor hitting nets like that are becoming big things, and he had a few guys ahead of us, but he thought by March 1st we'd be able to be in hitting on them. So he thought somewhere in the last half of February.
Boy, that's awesome. And for anybody that doesn't know, that that's going to be some drop down hitting cages for baseball and softball going into the old gym. So that's what a great opportunity for our kids.
Yeah, our booster club really stepped up to the plate there and really helped us out with that.
They did. And, that's something where, people don't think about it, but you could split those cages in half if needed, and you could potentially have softball and baseball in there at the same time, each using a cage and half the gym or whatever, or part of the gym, and getting swings in. And what a time saver! What a time saver that is! Even if it's just one of them in there hitting, that you can go in and get a lot of reps in a shorter amount of time. So that helps players, coaches, volunteers, whoever it is.
Absolutely. And we're doing some nice work in that stage area too. We're going to tear that thing apart and make that a softball pitcher, baseball pitcher type area in there, and the mounds will be able to be left up in there, and just doing a lot of good work there.
Yeah, it's something, not even just high school kids, but I think even maybe some youth teams will be able to use that from time to time, or for
Absolutely.
the camps that baseball and softball has, and it just, that's in my mind, that's a community thing that a lot of people in the community are going to be able to use. So great
we have
work.
a lot of youth teams that come in and use it during the spring.
Yeah, so great thing, great. Good job by you and the staff and like you said, the booster club to get that project going and done. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. We had to do something baseball, softball wise to give our kids an equal playing footing, and I think we went a long ways with that there.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, Maeghan, you kind of talked our ears off.
She left. She left about 15 minutes ago. Something about, it's a 2-hour delay. I don't have to worry about getting up early. I'm going to go play Fortnite.
Oh.
Well,
I hope we get tomorrow then.
I hope we get games tomorrow. But
yeah, you and me both.
Then again, careful what you ask for, because that wasn't, like, I made it to the boys game last Saturday. That was not our boys team this year.
No. So see how it shakes out, and I would guess if we'd lose tomorrow, those are games that just won't get made up.
Yeah. And Clear Creek's not an easy drive anyway, really.
No, it's not. The nice thing about that is you can drop down 61, get on 80, so you got good roads the whole way.
Yeah.
It sounds
you don't have to.
It sounds like it might be a good opportunity to get that RV fired up and get some usage out of it.
I drove by my brother's place the other day, and it's got about a 10-foot drift in front of it and about a 10-foot drift behind it.
Well, that's only 2 more feet than what we were using it 2 years ago.
Amen, man.
All right, guys. Well, I got to get going here, so.
All right. Well, you go back to watching TV there, Coakley.
I got to get ready for work tomorrow.
Work. All right.
So, all right. Well, Tom, thanks for your time, and thanks for answering all the questions. And I'll.
You bet. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yep. Catch you guys later.
All right. Well, thank you, Chad, it kind of worked out nice. That's been MCSN's podcast tonight. You can watch it anytime on our YouTube channel at Maquoketa Cardinal Sports Network. For Chad Coakley, Tom Gruenwald, Maeghan Scott, I'm Dale Scott. Have a good night.